Hey everyone, I'm here with Rob Jacobs. Hey Rob.
How you doing, Jen?
Great. And Rob has been doing short sales and has been a realtor since 2002. So he has seen some things. And the reason why I wanted to bring Rob on is because we're getting a lot of questions about short sales, about how the process works. And even though, I mean, I did a lot of short sales in like '09, '08 before I was a licensed real estate agent, but I'm sure the rules have changed. So, Rob, you have a pretty high success rate with getting short sales and stuff through for the customer, don't you?
Yeah, it's really all about pre-qualifying your potential short sale client and
Yeah.
making sure that they're going to be eligible for the program.
Perfect. So we're going to do a series of interviews that will help anybody that is like getting behind on their mortgage, just better understand what the options are. Because even when I was doing them, the bank was not doing a good job of explaining it at all. So we'll dive into that. And then also for any agents that either have an interest in learning it or have a need to help a customer, you're able to coach agents and also help agents by processing the short sale if they need to,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Perfect. So let's dive in. The questions that we're getting from customers right now is we're seeing a lot of like forbearance, but what exactly is that?
Well, part of the stimulus, the CARES Act was that any loans that are in the government realm, the GSEs, to be Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, anything under Ginnie Mae, FHA loans, VA, USDA. Those loans are automatically allowed to take a immediate 3-month deferment up to 6 months, and then the people can ask for an additional 6 months. So all in all, anybody who has a government loan can get up to a year forbearance, which is basically you don't have to make your payments for a year.
But what happens to them?
Yeah,
The
the problem, that's
payments.
where the problem lies, is that as of it stands right now, when your time is up, you owe that money. Pushing you into, what are your options is basically you're going to have to either pay them or do a loan modification with them,
Mhm.
or even sell your house if things are bad.
So so I imagine though that people that are thinking of doing like a forbearance, it's either because it's because they don't have the money to pay, right? Like either they lost their job or they feel like they might lose their job soon, so they don't want to like spend the cash because then, I mean, you're choosing between housing and eating sometimes or whatever, right?
Yep, yep. Well, I mean, right now we have, as of today, 26 million people have applied for unemployment benefits, and that includes, self-employed people, 1099 employees that previously, before the CARES Act, were not able to get unemployment. So
Right.
that adds to the numbers that weren't generally there before. But we also have 3.4 million people in forbearance programs right now, and it's basically going up about 500,000 people per week.
That's a
Um,
lot.
yeah,
What
yeah.
was it? Do you remember or do you have the numbers from like '09 and 2010 or know how it compares to that approximately?
Um, well, the percentage of homes in foreclosure back then, um, I believe it was 15%, upwards of 15%
Okay.
that went into default.
Okay.
Um, so we're not quite there yet, and hopefully it doesn't get to that
Well,
point.
part of that though is too because they're not really allowing for that, right?
Well, the forbearance program that the government set out is, hoping that the people can recover from this, and it's giving them a reprieve so that they can feed their families and, pay
I
whatever
just don't
bills.
understand the thought process, and maybe that's what you can help me understand. So, if I can't pay my mortgage, and let's say my mortgage is $2,000 a month, I can't pay my mortgage because I don't have that kind of money coming in anymore. Either my hours got cut, or I'm just not working as much, right?
Yep.
But I'm still gonna, and the bank says, yeah, okay, we'll do the forbearance for 3 months. At the end of 3 months, you're telling me I'm going to owe $6,000, right? So $2,000 a month for six to make
Yep.
it six. Is there fees associated with it also?
They're not allowed to add any late fees,
Oh, well,
and
that's good. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
what it's worth. They're not supposed to be reporting it to the credit agencies, but I've already seen people that have said that they have been reported. So
oh,
yeah,
geez.
but that's the banks for you. You know, they don't always do things correctly.
Yeah, well, I imagine that it's also like they have to go back into their system and undo that because it's probably some type of automatic
Yeah,
automation too.
it's unprecedented what we're going through right now,
Right.
and you know the banks were not ready for this. Everybody,
Nobody
I think,
was.
yeah, I think that we were all kind of expecting, you know, some kind of a dip eventually in the market, you know, just a correction. But this has turned that what would have been a correction into, you know, something that could be absolutely horrible. You know, if this thing goes on for 6 months, you know, like the federal bank in St. Louis said, we could have 25% or more unemployment at the end of the summer, which
That's
is,
crazy.
yeah, I mean,
That's
that
so
would be
high.
devastating for the economy, and
Right.
housing is going to be hit hard.
Well, everything will. But okay, so the bank says, yes, you can do the forbearance for 3 months, which means at the end of the 3 months, I'm going to owe them $6,000. But if I can't pay them the 2,000 now because my hours got cut, and let's say it doesn't go crazy, let's say in a month we go like back to normal, but anyway, my income is back to normal, then I'll only have another month or two to it just I will never make that up, right? I don't understand. I mean, I know how math
Yeah.
works, and it doesn't seem like the math can work that way.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy for anybody to catch up. I mean, when you're, you know, for the most of the people in America that are living paycheck to paycheck, it's going to be near impossible for them to catch up, and that is eventually going to push them into a modification type program, and that's really going to be their only option if they want to save their house.
Okay. So I do what's the difference though between the forbearance and a deferment?
Okay. Well, forbearance is just that you're not paying on your mortgage for a certain amount of time. So if you ask for a 3 month forbearance, you're not paying on your loan for 3 months and then it's due at the end. Deferment is taking that 3 months and putting it payable and due at the end of the loan, which is obviously much, much better for everybody. And if the government would make that part of the CARES Act, that would solve a lot of these
How
problems.
does that mess up though of because the way that mortgages get paid, it's a lot of front loaded on the interest. So like if they put it on the back, does that like what does
Well,
that mean for the borrower?
well, um, as far as the banks or the
No,
people that are,
the borrower, like the person, me, the
well,
mortgagee.
when the bank when the note becomes due in 30 years, when your 30-year note is due, then you would have those extra payments there due and payable.
Oh, it
Now,
kind of like makes it a balloon at the end.
right, yeah, yeah,
But it seems like that would be like if I were given this circumstance, right? Like let's use that same example where my hours got cut or whatever, and I can, get back to some kind of normalcy in like 2 or 3 months, then I could start paying. So really the balloon would only be a couple of months.
right, yeah. Depending on how long you take, and then you know if you have 15 years left on your mortgage, you could pay in increments throughout that time and then not owe anything.
That's true. You could pay like every 2 weeks or pay a little bit at a time
Pay a few
more.
hundred bucks when you have it, and eventually you'll get caught up. You know. But right now, that's not where they're at with it. It's just a forbearance, and that's only with the government loans. The private mortgages are not federally mandated to offer the forbearance, although private mortgage holders, their servicers and banks are offering that to people, and it's on an individual basis per the bank per situation. Most of them are doing it just to follow in line with the rest of the banks and the government. You
Well,
know,
yeah,
so
because I mean, what's the alternative? If you don't help these people out, then the alternative is they're not gonna pay
exactly.
because
Yep.
they can't. That's how it,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So do
Exactly.
you think then, is your prediction we're gonna have a lot more like short sales and things at the end of this?
Yeah, I think it's inevitable. You know, there's people out there that are struggling already. I was looking up some numbers last night where we have what was it 22% of homeowners saying that they didn't have enough to cover just an additional mortgage payment. 43% of low-income renters weren't even able to pay in March. So, you know, and those people are probably laid off, I'm sure, you know.
Right.
So, yeah, when this is all said and done, then the stimulus package only hit a small percentage of the people that needed it. So
Right.
there's a lot of, even though they just released another, I think, 450 billion towards it, it's just a drop in the bucket compared to who, you know, needs that money.
Who
And
needs it, right? That makes sense.
right now. Yeah.
So I think like the takeaway is right now, like better understanding the difference between the forbearance and the deferment. And then also like if people are in trouble, the first call is to the
Party
bank.
bank. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
mortgage company or the bank that
Yep.
holds the
And
note.
their phone lines are jammed right now.
I know. So
You
it's
know,
like every day you have to call like a million times and be ready to pack your patience.
exactly. Yeah. So what a lot of them are doing is they'll just have you log into your account online, and a lot of them are having to where you can just do it electronically. Just apply for it, put in your loan number, the information that they ask you, and you'll automatically be accepted for the most part. And then you'll get a letter in the mail telling you the terms. And then once things cool off, then hopefully you can be able to call your bank and talk to them in more detail about what your options are going down the line.
Cool. And then in our next video, we'll talk a little bit more about possible options or next steps that people are seeing and go from there. Well, I appreciate you being on.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Have a good day.
You too.